Now, I've said this once and I'll say it again, it all started with Ricky Gervais a couple of years ago at the Golden Globes that really stirred things up for these celebrities, for all these actors, actresses, writers, directors, producers, when he called them out at the Golden Globes, on live television, mind you, and it was that awkward moment when you began to realize that he wasn't joking, he was genuinely trying to be critical about how Hollywood functions, how the film industry operates live on television through the Golden Globes. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now look, I think that Ricky Gervais is a fantastic comedian. If you guys have not followed his work, go ahead and check him out, whether it's his stand-up material or whether it's his whole Golden Globes performance, which I do think that a lot of you should check out, especially his whole opening. But what's interesting about this has a lot more to do with Ricky Gervais once again putting, of course, a lot of these celebrities on blast. Those like George Clooney, Julia Roberts, and many others out there that have been saying the most illogical things out there in recent weeks. Now, what's interesting about this as well is that we know that Ricky Gervais, like I said before, it all started with him, and he's hopping back on, really putting them in the hot seat, and putting those like George Clooney, you know, at the forefront, and really calling them out for what they're all about. So let's jump into this, shall we? Now, we know that Ricky Gervais, number one, great actor, great comedian. I think that he does a lot of great work on his own, but what's interesting even further is the fact that we have a lot more of these actors and comedians now beginning to come forward, and are really beginning to just speak their opinion. Those like Zachary Levi and Sylvester Stallone, Ricky Gervais now as well, who has been doing this for a while to begin with, but with the entire media and all of Hollywood now going through tons of backlash from the general public, and for valid reasons, by the way, but one monumental development going on now involves more to do with actor and comedian Ricky Gervais, who recently put more celebrities on blast since they have been putting people down. Now, Ricky Gervais delivered the following toward those like George Clooney and Julia Roberts. There is one thing I have to say about all of those celebrities out there like George Clooney. Do your job. Just do your job. Like, is that so hard to do? You're an actor who pretends for a living. Just go and pretend and stop getting involved in politics, because it's not helping anybody in your field, unless you want to be stuck in an echo chamber, right? I just don't know what else actors like him are trying to achieve, because you see these are the flaws of Hollywood. I think all of these actors and celebs, like Mr. Clooney, believe that people want to be lectured with their politics. Like, what happened, Mr. Clooney? Did all that money and fame leave you hollow inside to the point you have to push politics onto the normal everyday person? I don't know. I just don't know. You see, if you're a comedian and an actor, you know, maybe me, I don't push all of that nonsense because why? People don't care. They just don't care. I stick to my job, and that's what I do best, and those like Mr. Clooney should follow suit, because we are all seeing this cultural shift right now, from not just those in the US, but those here in the UK as well. Everyone is just fed up with what Hollywood has to tell them, and what to do or how to think. Well, that's just not how it rolls with your normal everyday working folks anymore. Am I right? So to all those actors and actresses out there, I don't aim so low like Mr. Clooney. Be the better person and be quiet about your politics and focus on your job already, because that's what you do. You pretend for a living. It's like me, I make jokes for a living. That's what I do. It's pretty simple, isn't it? To understand, no? Let's get with the program already, because we don't need those like George Clooney and Julia Roberts telling us how to run a country or how to follow politics. So guys, let me just stop here really quickly. Now, he actually is saying exactly what I've been saying for weeks upon weeks now. Do your job. If you're an actor, go ahead and act. Don't actually get involved in politics. If you drag politics into your career, whether you're an actor, a musician, a writer, director, whatever it may be, if it's in show business especially, you're going to alienate a large percentage of your core fan base or followers or even potential followers, right? So that's really what Ricky Gervais is putting out there. It's a very simple thing. Do your job. Alright? Especially like if you're one in show business. He even admitted he's a comedian. He does jokes for a living. I mean, this is something that kindergartners would understand, right? So, moving on forward, he goes on to conclude, this is why people are more looking to things like streaming alternatives now, and they are avoiding the theater. Why would you drop your hard-earned bucks to support someone who is down-talking you? Indirectly, of course. But why would they do that? So I get it. I get it. Again, there's Ricky Gervais really stating the obvious. The movie theaters are suffering because of that as well, is that not only is it very expensive to a lot of families out there right now, maybe to like a single person it's okay, but to the families out there, believe me, it costs a lot of money. I know a lot of families out there that can't go to the movie theater because of how much tickets are, how much the food is, and all that stuff, and quite frankly, a lot of stuff that's being made right now isn't all that great. You know, that's why you have people, sticking to things like Netflix and HBO Max and all of these different streaming alternatives like he pointed out there. So, moving onwards, he goes on to conclude, but I think I see change coming. I think people are getting a bit better and are getting a better mind of their own after witnessing the obvious of the obvious now. And hey, maybe I will get the chance to do the Golden Globes again someday. Who knows? But I will continue doing my job, and I think it's important we mock what's been going on in Hollywood and how so many are angry after believing in Mr. Clooney, but you do you, and leave it at that. It's about time people shared the opinion very loudly. It gives me hope for humanity. So that's another very interesting point that he puts out there, is that the obvious of the obvious was thrown out there. And I think that it got too severe to the point where people began to really scratch their heads and saying, yeah, something is up with Hollywood, something's up with this film industry, something truly is going on with all of these studios, spewing all of their DEI garbage out there into products or brands or IPs and properties, whatever have you. You're seeing this all the time, and now you have a lot of studios, organizations, corporations. They are backing away from DEI departments. They are shutting them down. Just like that ever since November the 5th. Isn't it quite funny like that? How quickly things work out when people actually do come out and speak their mind in masses. It truly is a cultural shift that we are witnessing, and I did not expect to see it happen so suddenly, happen so out of the blue like that. So I think that Ricky's really putting it out there that, yeah, people don't want to listen to those like George Clooney, Julia Roberts, and how they get so involved in politics, and they get so personal about it too, and they get very angry about it when people don't agree with them. And that's why you tend to see a lot of these actors and actresses go into hiding for a while, then they come out and they try to give it another shot like Julia Roberts did a couple of days ago, putting people on, pretty much on blast and really ranting about their way of believing in politics. But again, I think that Ricky Gervais, do I think that he's going to come back to the Golden Globes? He wants to do it, obviously, but I don't think that they will let him. I don't think they will give him another shot. Maybe they will, like he said, who knows? But I think that we need another moment like that because, like I said in the opening of this video, the Golden Globes situation with Ricky Gervais, when he made those jokes, which I think were more than jokes, I think they were literal, actual, critiques of him coming out on stage. The faces on those celebrities were priceless. Again, go ahead and check it out. Ricky Gervais Golden Globes. It might have been 2020, 2021. But yeah, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. And I will catch you guys later.